Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news, discussion, and of course a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works in the Cosmere. What are you guys doing? I'm Eric, and joining me is Ian.
Hello, I am WeiryWriter, one of the few sane people ever on this podcast.
Also joining me is Evgeni.
They call me Argent. It's because I'm a party animal.
You know, when I thought 15 minutes ago saying that we should have a drink for the show, I didn't realize it would lead to this.
You've done this yourself, you have.
No, I haven't. Ian has been abstaining.
Look, my gin and vodka cocktail is gone.
Water. It's amazing. I should drink more of it. There we go.
You know, Evgeni, Jess was watching the show. She usually watches the intro, then watches who's that Cosmere character, then watches the rest of the show. And she said, wow, you guys on the Lord Ruler podcast got into things so quickly. And I'm like, that's because we don't have Evgeni to derail the intro. Which is true. Also joining me is Ben.
I'm Overlord Jebus, and I didn't think about. I'm not in the club. I'm just like hanging out outside, just standing.
Yeah, you were watching as things like exploded around you. Like I don't know. I don't understand.
But I was trying to react to us, but then I realized I don't know what way we appear. I assume that's going to be Ian. I assume that's going to be Argent, and I assume that's
you
going to
guys
be
are both at the bottom. You're in the bottom right. Evgeni's in the bottom left.
So yeah, cool.
Which is fair because I like being on the bottom.
And I'm Chaos.
Works out quite nicely.
And this week, guys, it's been a solid nearly 3 months since we've had a Word of Brandon episode, and that is unacceptable because I think after the Skyward Tour Words of Brandon, over 25% of our episodes were Word of Brandon episodes.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
We have not had one of these for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, we haven't had much reason to.
We've had no reason to. So now we're gonna do one. But first, I was reading Bands of Mourning, and it didn't occur to me that when they see the symbols for the Southern Temple, the Kandra are like, oh yeah, no. We have no record of these symbols or their ancestry at all. Nothing in the words of founding refer to these kind of symbols. Mm-hmm. So Southerners have nothing to do with the old classical Scadrial. Presumably they were in a completely different place then too, back then. No intersection.
Yeah, complete opposite side of the planet.
They were on the opposite pole. Yeah. And there was a giant mass of burning.
Well, they weren't between. No, in classical Scadrial, Ben. I'm saying that...
before
the Ascension, that those cultures did not intersect. That's what I'm saying, which is interesting.
Or at least any records of them did not.
Correct.
Were not saved by the Keepers.
I found that very interesting.
Yes.
Limited record keeping plus 1,000 years of linguistic evolution.
Southern Scadrians, not one of the 14 lands.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whatever
Which we
that
still
means.
know nothing about.
Yeah, no, we've it's just like, how many lands should we have in classical Scadrial, Brandon thinks. It's like, 14. That'll be great.
That's a number.
Clenny, Terrace. Oh, great, cool.
There was 2 in the south, and that made it 16 in total.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And Evgeni, you were at JordanCon?
I was at JordanCon, yeah. So by the time this airs, it would have been
after JordanCon.
A month-ish after JordanCon 2019. Yep. But I was there, and it was a slow-ish kind of year. Dragonsteel did not have a strong presence. Peter and Karen, both assistants to Brandon. Peter kind of the main big honcho assistant, and Karen is the wiki / continuity editor.
Yep.
And they were the only people there. From the staff of the 17th Shard, it was only me and K-Myth. And we also had just a few random members of the community show up and like recurring guests of the con. stop by and say hi.
Assorted members, not just random members.
Just randomly show up at the convention hotel. It's crazy.
Wow, what am I doing here?
A wild Brandon appears. What? No way.
No wild Brandon, but wild Howard.
Yes,
did appear. And because it was kind of a slower con, even though there were more people there than there were last year when Brandon and Isaac and Kara and Peter and Karen were all there. So not a whole lot to report, so we didn't do a separate episode. A few notable highlights. I know a few listeners of the podcast managed to find me, sometimes literally across the not the dance floor, but like the dance hall. Turns out I speak loudly. I don't. That's weird.
Your voice is memorable.
Yes.
You can't.
I always loved transcribing Chicago signing. Like, oh, that's Argent. I can attribute this one.
I know exactly who this is.
Well, but you can. That's also because like you hear somebody speaking, and you also hear the security going, "Sir, excuse us."
Was memorable. Danger.
It's like
warning Evgeni.
Warning.
Sorry.
It's like parentheses. Like the security guards are like my parentheses. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so I know a few people came by and said hi, and it was really, really cool.
Give Evgeni attention if you meet him.
Please, like I no longer need attention as desperately as I did before, but it feels really good though. So that was neat. Peter and Karen did a Dragonsteel panel where they talked about the Warbreaker Leatherbound coming out later this year.
Is it hype?
Oh boy, is it hyped!
Yeah.
So Karen talked about the continuity and the kind of changes that they need. So not the exact changes they're making, but the kind of changes they need to make. Hot from Jordan
to Warbreaker.
Well, like continuity and like there's apparently one place where Vivenna wakes up and Vasher's like, "You've been asleep for 2 weeks," and it's actually been like a day.
Oh, all right.
And things like that. Apparently Brandon loves describing adjectives as deep.
I believe it.
Colors.
Yeah. So like, and there's like, I don't remember if it was the Way of Kings that they showed an example from or Warbreaker, but it's like somebody enters a room and describes the interior as having deep furniture, I think, or deep wood, like one of those two.
Yes, I love deep wood.
I was like, what?
That's my favorite kind of wood, actually. Deep wood.
See, I have no issue with deep furniture. You know, when you sit on like a really soft sofa, you just sink into it.
Yeah, that's definitely what it means. Yeah.
But yeah, so if somebody wants to do a quick search to see how many times Brandon uses the word deep in the different books, I'm curious to see.
That's where the deepness came from.
That's where
deep as an adjective.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. But that's actually like work.
I'll say a quick skim of Warbreaker. It looks like it's like 40 or 50 times that the word deep appears in that book.
It's a very deep book. So that's what Karen talked about, and then Peter showed us, also talked about his side of things, and showed us a few pages from the Warbreaker Leatherbound and how that's going to look. So one thing they're doing, which is really, really cool, and there was no photos policy, I assumed, during the entire panel, because you'll find out in a moment. But one thing they showed us was, so you know how when you get fancy books, sometimes they have like the first character in each chapter is like looks fancy.
The drop
image, I think is what they called it. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's a drop cap.
You may be right. You absolutely may be right. But they're doing that for Warbreaker, and they've got the artist who does the Chinese covers of all of Brandon's works.
Ooh.
Which, if you've seen his Chinese covers, like you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can
the stained glass ones.
Yep. So this person is doing
that face Ian
the drop
was
caps.
hilarious.
I don't know their name, but I know you can find them on DeviantArt as Breath-Art. And they do a bunch of fantasy, like they have Lightbringer stuff, and they have like Warcraft stuff, and they have obviously.
I think they've done some Lord of the Rings stuff too.
Oh yeah. And more recently, I was looking at their gallery. They did like the classical D&D alignments, but as stained glass. And so you have an image that's dedicated to, let's say, lawful evil or chaotic good or things like that.
That's cool.
So that person is doing the drop caps for Warbreaker. A bunch of different artists are doing interior art. So unlike the previous leather bounds where you just open the leather bound and there's like an assorted selection of fan art that Dragonsteel has found throughout the years, now the images are going to be interspersed throughout the book so that they match the scene where they're supposed to be in.
Ooh. No wonder why Isaac's been busy organizing that. Jeez.
Yeah. Speaking of Isaac, I don't know if that's gonna be a thing. Dragonsteel is still discussing, but in an earlier panel, one hosted by Danzo Santos, whom I will just call Dan because we're now friends. He mentioned that he had found this really exclusive limited edition, no longer being mass-produced paper that looks like shimmering and shiny. Okay. And so they are considering using that for the Warbreaker things, which is going to be super cool with all the Biochroma stuff.
Oh, definitely.
And for people who don't know who Danzo Santos is, one,
my friend.
Where have you been? One, he's the cover artist for Warbreaker.
The US cover, yep.
The
original cover,
yeah. He's done assorted interior artwork for Stormlight. He is Dandos the Oilsworn.
Yep.
And he did the Ishar and Shalash end pages for Oathbringer.
Hype.
And speaking of end pages, he is doing all of the end pages for the Warbreaker leatherbound.
New art.
Brand new art.
Excellent.
Gorgeous. You can see Ben salivate wherever on the screen he is if you're watching. I'm also salivating because both of us have seen the art and it's so good. It is so good.
I managed to get
good for Warbreaker.
Sneak peek.
Yeah.
And there's some of that stuff is absolutely stunning. Like,
Howard Leon, who did also my friend Howard, who did the other two end pages of Oathbringer.
Jezrien
and Vettel. He's doing an interior piece somewhere in the book. I suspect where it's going to go because I've seen it.
Hey.
But it's great.
Hype. This is great.
Yeah, super hype.
That's going to be worth that $100, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So one thing I noticed was that with each leather bound, Dragonsteel gets measurably better in producing leather bounds.
Yes.
Like if you own the Hero of Ages one, and Hero of Ages, by the way, is steps beyond Well of Ascension, which in terms is steps beyond Elantris.
Yeah.
Warbreaker just blows it out of the water.
You could say it breaks all the boundaries of what a leather be.
It breathes life into what a leatherbound can be.
Let's just say it's breathtaking.
Hey, that's a way better pun.
Yeah. Shut up. What else in JordanCon?
What else in JordanCon? So Dan did a panel as well he also showed us the end pages there, and he also showed us a bunch of art that will not appear in the leatherbound, and all of it is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the issue with that art is that it just doesn't fit on the because when you open a book, as I will demonstrate on video with my signed anthology of JordanCon. So when you open a book, the end pages are like the back of the cover and the first page. This needs to be able to form an image, and so if your end page is, let's say, one of the scrapped ideas was a painting of Siri, a little abstract, where she's just kind of hunkered down and she's holding her knees, clearly sad, and then her hair is just spilling over the entire page, almost like a prison, actually. And something like that, even though it is a fantastic piece of art, and I really hope Dan puts a blog, my friend Dan, puts a blog later on, where he shows all of this art. It doesn't work on an end page because it's kind of a single central figure.
Right.
It's hard to split, right? Whereas things like the Oathbringer end pages, they're all individuals, right?
Yeah,
You can put one on this page.
It's a figure that's like fits on a page.
So he showed us a bunch of those, and he might put up a blog once the leatherbound is out, where he does essentially the making of the end pages of Warbreaker. So I'm really, really looking forward to that, because there's some prime wallpaper material there, let me tell you. But that's on the art front. So other things from JordanCon, Karen has a file on her desktop, laptop desktop, called Cosmere Master Timeline.
Yeah.
I tried in a number of different ways to trick her to open that file. She did not. But it's there. I've seen it.
You've seen that the file has an icon.
Yeah.
Is it a spreadsheet? What kind of file is it?
It is a spreadsheet.
Okay. All right.
It is an Excel spreadsheet. Other things from JordanCon, Howard Leon showed up briefly. We got to chat a little bit. I know one question that has not exactly plagued the community, but has arisen is the I'm gonna boil the question down to the symbolism in the Vedel end page.
Yes, right.
And if you've seen my report on the forums, you already know what I'm talking about. But we know that Vedel is the patron of surgeons, among other things.
Yes.
And what she holds in her hand appears to be not a is it a compass? It's not a compass.
It's a compass.
Yeah, it's a compass.
It's a drawing compass, not a direction compass.
Right. Okay, yeah, a drawing compass. And that's always been confusing to a lot of us. The symbolism hidden in this painting is that it goes back to ancient cultures on Earth, not on Roshar, but maybe on Roshar as well. According to whom, if you could inscribe a circle to kind of represent all of the knowledge in the world, where the things inside the circle is the knowledge available and achievable by people, and everything outside the circle is knowledge forbidden to men. And so you combine that symbol with the 4 keys, which are obviously referenced to Vereledev's golden keys in the story. But the fact that there are 4 of them is meant to symbolize all of the knowledge in the 4 corners of the world. And so she's coming down these steps holding 2 objects strongly associated with knowledge and giving knowledge, and she's coming down these steps descending to give this knowledge to mankind. So that's pretty much what's in there.
That's cool. I want to know more about Vedel. That sounds great.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. It's really cool. Both him and Dan, just real quick, reaffirmed that most of the things in their paintings are their own. So if you are looking at those paintings and going, what hidden message is Dragonsteel trying to send to us, there is a very good chance that there is no hidden message.
Okay.
There might be, but chances are there isn't.
Yeah.
But it does make sense that they're drawing on real world, like ancient myths for this, because Brandon has said that, in his opinion, a lot of that is just how humans are, like myths about mazes, like the Minotaur and the maze of Ishathon on Scadrial. It's like these things keep popping up no matter which humans you are. So it's very conceivable that Roshar would have these same connotations.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
Cool.
So that's my recap of
Great.
JordanCon.
Let's.
It was supposed to be a slow year, and it wasn't.
All right, guys. So we're gonna do some more words of Brandon and talk about none of that. And so, so we're gonna start with a signing in March in Orem.
So Blue Bar asks, so does a blood seal have to be carved from bone? To which Brandon replies, doesn't have to be, but usually is for various reasons. So Blue Bar then asks, is there any requirement for how a blood seal is made? Like location, like where the seal comes from? Brandon, yes, there is some tradition tied to it, and that tradition is steeped in fact, but not all the traditions are necessary, if that makes sense. So they have more baggage to it than it actually needs, but some of the baggage has, like the type of bone you're using, where you get the bone, and the location and stuff is relevant. But some of the other things they put on it are not, and also it's not 100% necessary. Blue Bar. So they think it might be necessary, but it's actually not. Brandon, yes.
I think there was another one that I put on the list that was in here that I didn't put on the list that was saying how you have to actually use the blood that from the person that you're sealing.
Oh, okay. That's
I mean, which makes sense because that's what we saw in the Emperor's Soul.
Yeah.
Because it's blood sealing, it's not bone sealing, so the blood will be probably the more important part.
And then one last Blue Bar question about blood sealing. How does blood sealing actually work with the skeletals? Does it trap something inside the bones like a command? Brandon, yeah, it works very similar to making a lifeless. Slight variations, but you are basically animating the bones by using investiture that doesn't actually belong to them and tricking them into thinking that it does for a little bit of time and making it think it's alive again. And the fact that it's bones is really important for that, for blood sealing. But it's working in a similar way. The distinction is that with lifeless, you are actually using part of their own soul, right? And with blood sealing, you're not.
Except you're not.
You're not using part of, well, unless you say that breath is
I mean, you
on.
could, but you don't have to.
Well, I think it's because the residual connections to the echo of their soul and spiritual realm from their body.
For lifeless.
For
lifeless.
lifeless.
Lifeless. Well, I mean, in with lifeless, you can't bring them, like, you have to do it after a certain. Do you have to do it a certain amount of time after a body has died?
No.
Can't just pull up any random corpse and.
Okay,
fair
I mean, fresh corpses are better because they're better preserved, but
you have to do some specific stuff for the one breath command to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to replace their blood with thicker alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to, but they work better if you do.
Yeah. Well, for the one breath. Well, no, the one breath command is just the command that uses one breath.
Ichor alcohol is just like maintenance.
The body.
You're putting like better oil in their engine.
Right.
Yeah.
Presumably better to trick the body to operate better, I guess. Then.
Yeah.
So, also, like their hearts are not beating, so
right.
There's no.
Blood's probably not the best thing there.
It's just gonna clump in the legs.
Oh, great! Let's talk about blood again. Great.
So,
welcome to Bloodcast.
Brandon has said that the lifeless are more aware of what's going on than the Halidrin give them credit for.
Right.
Like the fact that they're keeping the lifeless in the dark is not a good idea. So this makes me think that the skeletals, because they're not using part of their own soul, whatever that means, probably aren't. They're just constructs.
it feels like they're just much more removed from the original body type thing.
Cool. Yeah, thank you to Blue Bar for getting us a bunch of blood sealing wobs.
Yeah.
We don't, for some reason, we don't get a lot of people asking about like blood and corpses and other macabre stuff. I don't know why.
Let's go back to blood and hemalurgy. Let's do that again. That'll be fun.
Well, but that's because hemalurgy is not only blood, but it's also metal. People like metal.
Yeah.
Power. Let's say a couple of questions from Snipe XC.
Oh yeah.
Snipe EXC. Would Nightblood view Nail as evil? To which Brandon pauses for a long time and says, probably not.
What Nightblood views as evil is very interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah, I thought Nightblood just looks for any excuse to accuse anyone of being evil. So
but it's not. It's like a test. If you
it's a test. It's like
Nightblood.
If you
that part of it,
him for certain things like killing or like he recognizes that and
yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Like he tests Vivenna and she gets like really sick.
Yeah.
And that's part of the test. It's either you get sick or you murder a whole bunch of people and then yourself.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
I don't know. We can probably do like an entire episode on Nightblood.
Probably.
And half of that episode
Probably should do at some point.
Episodes on Nightblood? We've never done that before. How does he evaluate what is good or evil?
Yeah. Either way, this rabbit hole
beyond the scope of this podcast.
Yes.
Cool.
So moving on to the next wob, another one by Snipex. Could an analog computer be made using fabrials? Which Brandon says yes.
Cool.
That's not terribly shocking.
No, it's not.
I mean, analog computers are pretty terrible, but you gotta get started somewhere.
This next one is very interesting. Questioner asks, how would the city of Boston change over time in the cognitive realm, not Shadesmar, because its harbors have been constantly filled in with dirt? Brandon, right. It will change to match, but there will be a time lapse, right? They'll be lagging behind. Questioner, so you could dump it full of dirt, and then it might take like 5 or 10 years before it actually appears as land? Brandon, yeah, that's exactly about how it would go. Right,
yeah, fill it. Yeah, dump dirt in the harbor, just not tea though.
Hey, that was a very patriotic, Mr. British person. Okay, that's your name, Mr. British person.
Mr. British.
And we fought a war. Okay. And we did it.
No taxation without representation.
We did that on the backs of ourselves in fireworks and hamburgers, and that's the 4th of July. That's how it goes. And we had no help from the French at all.
We rolled fireworks into battle.
We were personally there.
I'm a full-born American.
You're full-born?
Yes, I'm a full-born.
So, I find this question very interesting, though, that how the cognitive realm, there's this lag on physical changes. That's very interesting.
This makes sense to me, because the cognitive realm is shaped by people's, knowledge, but it's the collective ideas of people. And it's not quite if I think of something as this thing, it'll change immediately. It's that kind of subconscious, deep-rooted belief of something. So if
something has to gain weight before it's reflected. And this makes sense because Brandon has said that as understanding of the gas giants in the Rosharan system becomes more deep, that they will start to get reflected in the environs there.
So people would think of the Boston Harbor as a harbor, and so it would appear as a harbor in the cognitive realm. But then if it got filled in with dirt and not tea, then people would slowly over time start thinking of it as not the Boston Harbor, but the Boston, I don't know, dirt pile. I don't know a lot about Boston, so
it just becomes more of Boston.
It's just a matter of where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
If you're a Bostonian, put your angry comments below.
And your
tell us about your dirt piles.
Tea in the
America, 4th of July, yeah.
Other fun Boston fact: there was a molasses flood at some point.
Yep. Yeah. Horses died.
A massive container of molasses burst and it flooded a entire section of Boston.
Horses got stuck in the streets and they had to put down the horses.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
Man, Boston's crazy. Damn.
Yeah, guys, this is a real thing.
Have a cup of tea or
I'm just gonna march through this entire conversation.
Welcome to Boston Facts. Boston Facts podcast for all your news discussion about Boston Facts.
That this reminds me of a similar WOB from the past year or so, I want to say, where somebody asked what would happen if, let's say, we are on Roshar, so we can use the term Shadesmar without yelling at anyone.
Yep, that's right.
And if there is an island, let's say, on the other side of the continent of Roshar, it's just a small island with like 20 people or something. Obviously, that island would have a presence in the cognitive. Well, what would happen if all the people there died and nobody outside of the island knew about this island? Like, how would that change propagate through the cognitive realm? And Brandon's answer was essentially that it would like shrink down and disappear.
Yeah. Right, but there'd probably be that like time lag, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't immediately vanish.
It would be, yeah.
It would slow.
This is super cool. Cognitive mumbo jumbo. I love it. This is cool. Why are they reflected? Why is land, water, or beads, and vice versa? Yeah. Whatever. Cognitive mumbo jumbo, but it's cool. Let's end this episode of Boston Facts. Support us below. Yes. I'm just kidding. And let's talk about something that won't divide us. Am I right?
Okay, so this one is from. I've always said his name's SnipeEXE.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That seems like the wrongest way to say that.
It has EXE in the name.
Yeah, but it also has SNIPEXE, so you might as well just call them SNIPEXE. If you're going to say it like that.
It's just welcome to Shardcast criticizes your username. We love you.
If you are the artist formerly known as SNIPEXE, tell us how to say your name.
Okay, so
continue.
SnipeEXE, could you create a nuclear bomb using the Surge of Division? Brandon, not division, but there are Cosmere powers that are built around splitting atoms.
Splitting items. How do I split stacks?
Someone clicked and covered the text. So
yeah, don't do that, guys.
What of you guys?
Yeah, that wasn't me. That was Anonymous Neon Cat. So fuck you guys. Whoever's purple on this. Well, this is good because we talked about Division in the Knights Radiant podcasts, and so that's good to know that they can't use it this way.
Yes.
And presumably it is not strong axial interconnection and weak axial interconnection.
Yes.
On here.
Looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
More Cosmere magics. Let's create nuclear bombs. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
I'll say we do know that we believe that the atom splitting magic is a Yolish magic, so we'll see it eventually.
It's Yolish.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pre-shattering magic, maybe. Probably.
Yeah.
If light weaving was a pre-shattering magic and it is still around in some form,
it should still be around, but maybe work a little differently.
Maybe changed. Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
I'm on. Next question comes to us from questioner. Pending review. My thought is, you know how the Stormfather in Oathbringer says he's not able, or he's never seen Dalinar be able to create a bridge. Does that mean honor could be reborn? Fair warning, listeners and viewers, we have no idea what this means.
This questionnaire is...
But Brandon apparently does, because he says... So there are things standing in the way, but cosmologically, it is fully possible that another person could become honor. The vessel that was holding honor before is gone. Bitanov asked.
Yep.
Though the Stormfather is kind of his cognitive shadow at this point in a way, but the power, something else could be done with it, or it could remain in the state it is now. Your answer is yes, but there are some hindrances along the way.
So Brandon answered the second sentence in the question.
Yeah.
Could honor be reborn? I don't know what's going on with this bridge thing.
Yeah.
The only bridge that I remember is like one of the diagram
Sort of
things.
Vengeance,
Yeah.
They will form a bridge.
They will form a bridge.
Well, I think they're referencing the perpendicularity.
That's what it looks like, yeah. Because that's what the Stormfather says, hey, you should not be able to do that.
Oh, see, I thought
or
you
as
were
it's known,
one of
the bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, it is...
Yeah.
That.
So this
it's also a lot easier to say than perpendicularity.
Yeah, but don't you sound more pretentious saying perpendicularity?
It's also way more fun to say perpendicularity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got to make this podcast more dense. So, I mean, makes sense that someone could become honor, but yeah, some hindrances being the spread?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but a lot of the investiture is in them, right?
Yeah.
But it's still part of honor.
It is, I would say it's connected to honor. I don't think if anyone were to ascend to honor, capital C, if anyone were to ascend to honor, they could just like suck out the juice from all the spren.
I don't think you would have to.
Depends how much is in the spren, though, right?
But
yeah, that's what I think.
Honor would have like less power. Anybody holding honor would have less power available to them. They would have less liquid assets.
Yes,
but it would all still be part of them.
I agree with that. If this is true, as long as the majority of honor's power is kind of quote unquote free investiture, like hanging out in the spiritual realm. If most of it is in the spren, then maybe there isn't enough outside of them for somebody to like ascend
and like, have their body vaporized.
Because honor was splintered.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So that must mean something for someone trying to take up honor. They're not just going to be able to grab all of honor's power and just take it up. They're going to have to do something with wherever the splinters are.
I think so. Right
in all the spread. Yeah.
And I think the assumption is, or at least Odium's intent, lowercase, double lowercase, because it's the normal English word intent, was that
double lowercase. Double lowercase.
I think his intention was that honor would be so splintered. Like, the reason he's splintering shards is so nobody else can ascend to that shard. And so if the net effect of the splintering is that, let's say 10% of the shard's power is now in these entities around the world,
seems pretty crappy.
Then okay, great, but like you can still go and ascend to the other 90%, which is, it defeats the purpose. So I feel like most of the power needs to be in the spren.
Yeah.
Or somehow inaccessible, like free.
Yeah. Personally, I think the main hindrance is you've Dark God right next door that will absolutely like attack anybody that tries to ascend.
Yeah.
And
but
murder them before they get a good enough grip on the power.
Yeah.
See, I think cultivation could like block an attack on something like that, and like it wouldn't be as easy as you're making it sound.
It's a hindrance, it's not insurmountable.
I don't think that's what the hindrances mean in this context. I think it's a mechanical part of what the splinters are.
Yeah, it'll be the splintering.
I think they are all a factor.
Sure.
But... Yeah.
Sure. We just
could theoretically someone become honor? Yes, theoretically. But
unity.
I still contend that unity is becoming like Downer or someone would have to understand all of the 10 purposes of honor, and that unity is but one.
Yes.
Yes, the 10 honor's purposes. Yes.
Yes. Cool.
Moving on. Another one. So this is another one from NSIPXE. Would a Primite
from
wait.
Snipexy?
Wait. Okay, say that first sentence again there, Ben.
I tried to save you, Ben.
Primate be turned into a colossus?
What did you say first? You primati? I
think I said Primarch because I'm terrible. So
Mr. Andalasium himself. God.
Would a primate be turned into a coloss if the spikes were placed in the correct bind points? Brandon said something like a coloss, but you would not call it a coloss. Snipex said, would they lose intelligence or gain if they were? And Brandon said, you could do it either way, which is confusing.
Well, you can have spikes that gain intelligence. We see that with the Chondra, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is when you put Chondra spikes, Chondras gain intelligence. With Colossus, it's kind of warping you.
I view that very differently. They're unmucking up
I guess
the Canvas Spirit Web.
I guess that's true. You're right.
But you can imbue sentience in, like, cats. That has been explicitly asked and answered.
There you go.
I was reading the question as, can you, if you just got Coloss spikes and whacked him in a primate, would that increase the intelligence? And I'll be like, no.
Well,
but yeah, if you could just spike them with a random cat into like sapience, then
I mean, I don't think there's anything random, but yeah.
Are all the Coloss spikes pewter?
No.
Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
Pewter in what way?
Pewter or iron?
They're all iron.
They're all iron?
Yeah, it's human strength.
Okay.
That's the attribute.
Oh, yeah.
So right. I wonder if, let's say, so what I assume is going to happen here is if you take spikes that would work perfectly fine on a Coloss, so iron spikes charged with strength, and you put them in some other primate monkey. Primate.
Yes. No, I know. Yes, I agree.
Duckless.
Making fun of Ben. Sorry, not you.
Okay, that's fine.
Great. I'm glad you approve.
So you would be then giving the monkey a ton of strength, and so I assume they would warp in. So one of the reasons the Coloss warp the way they warp is because you were making them super jacked.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them so much strength.
Yeah.
You do that to a gorilla, let's say, it gets super, super jacked. So it gets morphed like along similar lines. But if you were to give them a different kind of spike, but let's say still 5 spikes, then they might turn, obviously in the appropriate bind points, they might turn into a Coloss-like construct that's not super, super jacked. It's just a different construct.
Like if you start jacking a primate, then it's going to have a different effect than if you're not jacking the primate. Yeah.
Moving on.
Eric, what's the next question?
Oh.
Okay.
I hope you find this entertaining, listeners. Maybe our choices before we started this podcast were unwise.
No mistakes were made.
I would like to point out that I was going to say similar things, and I was like, I need to change my wording to get away from that.
Ben's like, nah.
I'm going to dive straight into that.
I'm going to, yeah. All right, Windle Runner asks, Hoyd, he already has his Cryptic by Era 2, if I'm correct on the timeline. So we have seen him using his new fancy
we seen?
Thank you. So have we seen him using his new fancy light weaving in action? Has he spoken his 5th truth? Brandon, I'll raffle that for now. I'll raffle both of those. Those are 2 separate things, but I'll raffle those. You've seen Hoyd light weaving, but whether you've seen him use his new light weaving, we'll leave that off for now. And the interesting part, let's just say that he knows that certain uses of investiture are easier to detect than others, and if you don't want to be seen, there are certain things you don't do. Discuss.
Rosharan light weaving is really sneaky, but maybe Radiolish light weaving is even sneakier.
Is that how you would interpret that?
Well, one of them is one of them is more sneaky than the other, and
that's interesting.
maybe like
so we know.
Yeah.
Here's I agree, and here's my read on this. We know that light weaving specifically is quote unquote quieter than anything Kaladin can do.
Yep.
Yeah. The way Brandon is answering this question, he is saying, like, we know Hoid has two forms of light weaving, and Brandon knows that we know, or at least the questioner does, that he has two forms of light weaving. So for him to explicitly bring up, hey, I know that you know that Hoid has Yolish light weaving and Rosharan light weaving, but let's say that using some investitures are easier to detect than others. And that's the answer I'm going to give you. So whether Yolish light weaving is in fact quote unquote quieter than Rosharan light weaving, which it may be because the Yolish variant seems like lower energy, low effect.
Yeah.
Whether that is true or not, Brandon is using that as an answer to the question. Like, it may not be a true answer, but that's what Brandon is saying.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, it's like investiture tied to a splinter of Adenalsium is probably louder than basic stuff from before the shattering.
Well, whatever form that is, however,
whatever,
that old power, who knows? But yeah.
There's a lot we don't know about Yolish magic and light weaving from there specifically.
That's an understatement.
We also don't know what qualifies that things being louder or not. Like, we don't really know.
Not really. But I think it's a safe bet to say if a magic just produces a larger effect, then it would have more of a... It would be more detectable.
Yeah.
Because you're expending more, not energy, but investiture.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense that Shallan's light weaving can do a lot more. You can make sounds and stuff. Hoid couldn't do that before. Like, needed physical thing.
It's actually louder.
I've always said that it seems like Yolish light weaving is more about manipulating things that are already there, like smoke or dust or stuff. So it could be that because you're not creating an illusion out of nothing, you're kind of just subtly manipulating the world. It could be quieter.
Yeah. So that should be very quiet, which, I mean, he would probably only use the fancy light weaving unless very necessary, right? Considering Odium would really want to destroy him.
Yeah.
Although if he is on Scadrial, because the question is about, have we seen Hoid Lightweave in Era 2?
Well, then
maybe his concern is less with Odium and more with
Seekers.
Somebody else.
Like, on Scadrial, you have Seekers, and presumably that could detect kinetic investiture if you were trained to do so.
He doesn't care.
I think he could. But depends.
I don't know if that's what Brandon was getting at, though.
Sure.
Because it's like, there's no guarantee that the Seeker is going to know, what is that
for sure,
rhythm?
For sure. But, like, other people are chasing him and stuff, like, not just regular Scadrians.
Sure, yeah, sure.
And there's Trell.
Yeah, I was going to say Trell, I thought would be more of a worry for him.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hoid can deal with normal Seekers.
I'm just saying, if you're on Scadrial and you're a secret organization, it's like, hey, let's just hire a Seeker, get a Seeker into our organization, and train them to search for this person. Right? Okay. You have easy access to people who can detect investiture, right?
Yeah, that is true.
But theoretically, that applies to any world, because any world-hopping organization could just recruit someone on Scadrial and take them off planet.
That's true, but
or just take someone
there's going to be a lot more Seekers on Scadrial, is what I'm saying.
The cognitive realm born, metal born that they have, apparently, because, we've got... What's her face?
Yaddle, who is not confirmed to be Metalborn.
No. But what I'm saying is, if you've got one South Scadrian descendant, you probably have North Scadrial descendants living in the Cognitive Realm. So you probably have like Metalborn that are native to the Cognitive Realm. That's what I'm thinking.
Very true. We'll see.
Cool.
This questioner asks, how many different worlds of the Cosmere has Nightblood been to in total? By which I mean been present in the physical realm of that world. Very good crafting of a question.
Well crafted. 10 out of 10.
Bonus points. Bonus points.
Brandon, more than 2.
Very well crafted answer.
Yes.
I feel like the answer to this is probably not very exciting, that like it could just be like Ashen or Braze. Like somehow in the transition from Nalthis to Roshar, that maybe there was just some intermediary.
I don't think Braze would be very high on Vasher's list of places to go. So probably Ashen is more likely.
I think the more likely option here is that no, I take that.
It could.
I was gonna say, like, because Vasher hit. So the way world hopping is involved in this, Vasher leaves maybe one of the other scholars, but leaves Nalthis, makes his way to Roshar, comes back with the knowledge of shard blades,
right,
or possibly other blades, but probably shard blades. Creates Nightblood. Time passes. Warbreaker the novel happens. Vasher leaves Nalthis with or without Nightblood.
Perfectly possible.
And so, if somebody took... Go ahead.
Yeah, either way, Nightblood has left Nalthis at that point. And time passes where people who are hunting Nightblood, i.e. Vivenna, don't know where Nightblood is. And so Nightblood could have gone anywhere in the amount of time it took for Nightblood to leave Nalthis and arrive on Roshar. They could have gone to Scadrial, they could have gone to Cell, they could have gone to Dromenad, you know.
Could have gone to Vax.
Could have gone to Vax.
That's where Vasher went first. It has a V in it. Vasher's like, I'm there.
We know Nightblood has like a connection to Ruin's investiture in some way, and so maybe someone was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go take you to Scadrial for some reason."
Not the way we think.
Yeah,
in the non-trivial way.
In the non-trivial way, has a link to Ruin. So
I forgot about that word of Brandon. Just
I can't forget about that word of Brandon.
I mean, it's not that I forgot about it. It's just that how wonky that is.
Ben wakes up in the middle of the night,
and I'm like, how is Nightblood related
from his face?
So maybe Scadrial
overlaid
it.
Jebus
right?
is like, what?
And I'm like, Nightblood, Ruin.
And she's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe the answer is just Scadrial, right? Like that's perfectly possible.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Kelsier and Nightblood.
Oh no.
What a terrifying combination.
Would Nightblood view
Kelsier?
Oh, 100%. Oh, definitely.
Well, I don't know about that, because Kelsier does what he believes is right.
By killing a whole bunch of people.
Sometimes you do need to kill a bunch of people to do what's right.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Sometimes you need to kill a bunch of people.
But the difference is that Kelsier enjoys killing a bunch of people.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. That might be the problem.
So a lot of things were like, yes, he was like this great hero. Some of that was just an excuse so he could kill people.
Yeah.
Like that is definitely a part of Kelsier.
True. I totally agree.
I was talking to a friend who's finally convinced someone to read Final Empire, and he was like going through Kelsey's plan. Okay, you guys do some sneaky stuff. Vin, you go to parties. I'm just gonna go kill random people in their houses, and we're just gonna see what happens with me killing random people in their homes.
Or as Kelsier calls it, the fun part.
Yeah.
That would be a good question, though. Would Nightblood
Kelsier being a good guy is because of the very particular circumstances in the Final Empire.
Yep.
Outside of those circumstances,
not so much.
Yeah, but I think he's changed a lot since he became the Sovereign.
Who knows?
We haven't seen him since he became the sovereign.
Anyway, that's not the topic. All right, next question. After a quick revision, Orange Jedi asks, could a non-native be able to return?
Non-Nalthian, presumably.
We presume they mean somebody who's not from Nalthis.
Yeah.
So either somebody who's immigrated from a different world or a descendant of somebody who's immigrated from a different world. Brandon says, yes, that's possible. Joy Blue pitches in and asks, so someone who was born without a breath and came to Nalthis could possibly be returned? Brandon says, possibly could be returned, yes. Not very likely, but possible. Joy Blue follows up with, so they could get a divine breath even though they could be given a divine breath. Yes, says Brandon.
Do any of you seem to remember a thing where non-natives, like non-Nalthians, could not return? Because I feel like there was a thing like that, and this is different than that previous word of Brandon. But Brandon's just saying, theoretically, but it's not very likely that Endowment would do that.
Because, Endowment's, special thing, Endowment's in her name.
And so it'd be weird if she... Inconsistent, right?
Yeah, well, what I mean is so when you're a Mistborn, if you go to Scadrial, you can't just spontaneously get a metallic art, just out from nowhere because you need to be connected to the shards in some way. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Endowment's it's in her name. She endows things on people. She could just give a divine breath to anyone. Is because if she couldn't, then she's a pretty bad endower. If she couldn't just endow things willy nilly.
Yeah. Just interesting how that changed, because I thought for sure that there was, non-natives don't return. Just say it was pretty straight up.
Yeah. If there was a thing like that, then it no longer is a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
It probably like most things when Brandon says no, it's like, well, usually no, but with enough power and enough motivation, you can make anything happen. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No with an asterisk.
No asterisk. Yep, that's right. We had no asterisks in these set of WoWs. It's very sad.
Were you not? Ooh.
Disappointing.
I know.
Next one, another one from Orange Jedi. Some great initials there. Can you capture Preservation's Mist in a sphere? To which Brandon says, this is plausible.
I rate this interesting. And that
makes sense to me.
Yeah. Not terribly shocking.
No.
Yeah.
Do we want to bring up your Mist Fabrial idea you had from ages and ages
and
ages
ago? No. That was I was trying to think of how you could mechanically get the metallic arts. And I thought it's like, hey, Fabrials are mechanical, and you'd put Mist into metal somehow. There was obviously this break of like, I don't know how you do this, but sure, maybe. But
give us another question.
Speaking of not Scadrial, it's time for Roshar. Treegrass asks,
it's always time for Roshar.
Yeah. How long does it take to summon an Honor Blade? Is it 10 heartbeats or instant? Brandon. So Honor Blades, as far as anyone knows, is 10 heartbeats. If you were to ask Zeth how long it would take, he would say 10 heartbeats. Treegrass, but they're not? Brandon, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you ask Zeth, if you ask the current bearer of Jezreel's blade, they would all say it takes 10 heartbeats. And the second questioner asks, what about for the heralds? Brandon, Raffo there.
Brandon has previously said that it taking 10 seconds for Seth was a matter of perception.
Yeah, and it was a matter of perception of Shallan's Shardblade as well, before she realized it was a Spretton.
That was more willful,
true.
Ignorance.
Well, true, right? But this 10 heartbeats is not a hard and fast rule, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Even
it's a thing of the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Adolin's
and combined with Zeth's knowledge/belief that Honor Blades work like Shard Blades, then Shard Blades require 10 heartbeats, therefore Honor Blades require 10 heartbeats.
Yeah.
They probably
it's understandable how that perception can arise.
Yes, but it doesn't need to be the case.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so for our last wob from Orem, we have Treegrass's wife, who asks, who doesn't ask a question, who states something. You should write a book about rock. Brandon, I am planning a novella about rock, so I do plan to do one. Let's see if I can squeeze it in, but I do plan to give him his own novella.
That'd be wonderful.
Isn't it his novellum, his chapter in Oathbringer? Am I right? Hey. It's really not. But,
so right next to Lift, Risen, and...
Is there anyone over Richard not getting a novella at this point?
Yim, he's dead.
Could be a prequel. Could be a flashback novella.
Yeah, that's the Stormlight prequel I want.
Yeah, Yim. More shoe fixing.
Just making shoes.
Yeah.
Extended cut of nails killing him. But that's exciting. I think this is the first time we've heard of this, right?
Yeah.
Possibly.
I
know I heard about this recently. I may have heard it from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently, as in when it was transcribed. We're talking about it now, maybe. So, now, guys, we're done with Orem, and now we're on to the recent FanX convention, formerly a while ago called Salt Lake Comic-Con, until they got sued. So...
Well, they would have two events. One was Salt Lake Comic-Con, and one was Salt Lake Comic-Con FanX. So this was always the FanX one.
Yep.
Fun story, not story for today.
Yep. And
we don't do con politics.
In this event, there are lots of questions from Stormlightning. Thank you, Stormlightning. These are
good
great.
job, Stormlightning.
Yes.
Give us all the questions.
Yep. I think we didn't have a recorder the first day, so we don't get all of them. But...
Yeah, well,
we got a very limited, but
that's fine. We don't need double, triple episodes of Word of Brandon episodes. That's fine.
It's nice to have some things just be secret.
Let's churn through some questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stormlightning says, are Hoyd and the set aware of each other? Brent says, yes, but I wouldn't say the set as a general rule, but members of the set. As a reminder, the set are the association from Era 2.
Yep.
How do they feel about each other? Some various shades of loathing. Next time you see Brandon, ask him if it's 50 Shades of Loathing. On both sides, ask Stormlightning. Yes, says Brandon.
Great.
So they don't like each other.
Not surprising.
Yep. I just loved the way he phrased that. Some various shades of loathing.
Shades of loathing. You know, we have to have more books start with shades or shadows, and so that's going to be book 1 of Era 3, Shades of Loathing. Easy.
No, that's going to be the Threnody novel.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Shades for silence in the shadows
of loathing.
Of loathing.
Cool. So the next one by Questioner. Would a copper cloud at all affect how Spren act? To which Brennan says yes. So a copper cloud, which is the one that blocks detection from bronze burners.
Good job remembering
detection.
That.
Yeah.
I think it would make Spren less likely to appear because they're not going to be able to detect the emotions that would attract them.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because we know that copper clouds would shield minds like how the AVR do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And they also obviously protect from emotional elemency.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that's actually similar enough to emotional elemency, I think. Right. So Spren, especially the emotional Spren, would need a way to detect the emotions in a human on the other side. And so if you are able to put up a wall between that detection mechanism, regardless of which way the detection goes, then it works exactly like emotional elemency.
I'm down with that. Maybe there's other effects though, but hard to say at this stage.
Yeah.
This next questioner asks how Alcatraz Book 6 is coming along, and Brandon says it's coming along really well. It's almost done. he's written his half. Bastille hasn't finished her half yet, otherwise known as Jancy, a friend of mine that I'm co-writing it with, so I can blend the voice and make it sound a little more distinctive. It was sounding too much like Alcatraz, so I wrote a big chunk of it, and then I asked her to write a big chunk of it, and she is smoothing the voice together. I think she is near the last chapter of it, of the chunk she had been writing. It's going to be really cool. The ending that I have, it's really zany, and it's really crazy, but it is great. Cool.
Nice.
Cool. I should really read.
Yes, you should.
Well, yeah, once Alcatraz 6 is coming out, like, once the series ends, it's like, oh, now I have motivation to read the rest of these, you know?
They're fun books.
They're fun. Super quick reads.
And super quick, yeah.
You can read them in, like, not long at all.
Cool.
Evening reading.
An afternoon.
Yeah.
Like,
easily.
Oh, right. Oh, they're really short.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They're like 100
they're
pages.
middle grade novels.
Yeah.
With
Cool.
very, very fun and cute illustrations.
They're great. I still haven't bought the new editions, but I have the
they're so
old
good, though.
Scholastic
Editions are quite
editions that are
Oh my
like that
God.
have the terrible covers. Yeah. Alcatraz is really fun, guys.
So I have, I guess off record, I have all of the old ones, the Scholastic ones,
Yeah.
and I have most of the new ones, but not all of them. And just the old ones are so bad.
The covers are so terrible. I could bring them over, but
So terrible.
I like this one.
this one is probably a prelude to this connection language thing that we might be talking about. I think this might have sparked it, but I don't remember. But
Possibly.
well,
Was Alex's last name Neverfar?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep.
I didn't get to that. I haven't gotten to the ship part of Bands of Mourning yet. So
So, fun fact, I knew that. Like, I see the name and I recognize it. I've never processed that it's actually, like, never far. I've always read it as a proper noun.
It's like shepherd is sheepherd.
That, though.
It took me a long time to realize that. Okay, so this next question is from Gyoza Guy. Oleg Neverfar has those medallions that let him talk to people in their language, but he has an accent because it knows his parents aren't from that area. So I'm wondering, if he and his parents are both using those in a foreign land, does he no longer have an accent and his parents would? Brandon, I would say that they would both still have an accent. Gyoza Guy, so it's not connected. Brandon, it's connecting to the soul of his parents, and it's kind of picking that out. There are ways around that, if you're really good with the way connection works and things like that. Obviously, you've seen Hoyt speaking without an accent all over the place. The medallions are kind of a crude, early version of doing that sort of thing, not really in control of the magic more, and so I wanted to build in some little indications that things are not quite as fluid as they will someday get. Gyoza Guy. So it's more of a hack and not a rewrite of the connection. Brandon, yeah, exactly. Blue Bar, it's not a direct link from them to the investiture. Brandon, yeah. If you find someone who's using the magic themselves, you'll see that they, like Dalinar didn't have. The people who spoke with Dalinar didn't have accents when he was using the same sort of connection magic to give them linguistics and things like that.
interesting.
What an interesting question, yeah.
That is.
So
I rate that a good question.
good question out of 10.
Mhm.
Out of 16, obviously.
Oh, good
Oh,
point.
well,
Or 17.
I mean, 10 is equally valid.
Yeah.
Only if we're on Roshar.
So I guess the fair chemi way of doing things is just not as great as the other more direct ways, maybe?
Sounds like it.
Well, it depends. So I think the problem here may be less feruchemy and more the fact that you are using a fabrial in because if you are a feruchemist, you may have more fine and granular control over like exactly the kind of connection you're forming
I guess
and
that's true.
exactly how you're forming it. Whereas if you are tapping a medallion, it's kind of a mechanical give me a connection.
Well, aren't you
Kind of like
aren't you storing connection?
No, you're tapping.
You're tapping connection.
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
You're tapping blank connection, which is automatically connecting to where you are.
and so the way you can think of it, you know those mechanical toys where if you're lazy and you don't want to play with your dog, you can like put a ball in it and it launches the ball and the dog runs and catches it and puts it back in the mechanical contraption.
Yes.
That's a medallion. and you
Yes.
taking the ball and like throwing that is like Hoyd.
I need to finish Bands of Morning because I'm just like,
Yes, you do.
I legitimately thought that the blank connection happened because you were storing your own connection, and so then you had a blank connection.
No, because you'd be storing your.
How do the medallions get blank?
You store
your identity,
so
then you store your connection.
Well, identity is whatever. That's if you want other people to use the thing. You store your own connection, and now your connection is in the medallion. But it's like when you are storing connection, you're not storing connection to something. You are storing connection, period. And when you tap that, that's how Alec explains it. When you tap
I don't think that's the default. It's like you can do that. That's how these medallions are created.
Yes.
Blank connection.
I agree. That's how the medallions work. You store connection, and whether you store that connection as blank connection or whether it gets like erased in the process of storing it is irrelevant. But once you start tapping that stored connection, you tap it blank. And so it automatically connects to wherever you are.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You're putting a string or a rope in the medallion.
You're putting
and it may have a different color, it may not, it doesn't matter. When you take it out, it links you to where you are.
You're storing your ability to connect to things, not your connection to things. So when you tap it, you're tapping the blank ability to connect to things, which automatically connects to the land.
I don't like that.
I think I'm legitimately more confused now than what I before.
It's
this.
like the thing is like it's in the medallion and not connecting anything. It doesn't matter if it's blank. But what you're actually like using that connection, like it has to connect to something, so it's just connecting to the closest thing, which is where you are. And it's like you could probably manipulate to connect to somewhere else if you were better and actually knew what you were doing.
And the reason you have accent is because this is just an additional connection. Like it doesn't override your existing spirit web. It doesn't override your existing connections, unless maybe it overrides your location-based connection. Like maybe there's only like one quote-unquote connection location gene thing. And so the reason you have an accent is because your soul is still connected to your parents. Like tapping connection doesn't erase that. Maybe if you were reforging yourself, that would change things.
you need to rewrite your current spirit web in order.
It's like forgery light because it is tricking your soul into thinking you're raised here, so you know the language. But it's like your parents were still born wherever you're actually from.
Right. You have to just do it more. You have to do more.
And so I was gonna say it was really surprising to me that Brandon's first answer was like to the question of, well, what if you were tapping connection and your parents were tapping connection? I was really surprised that you would retain your accent.
So this also goes back to forgery, where it's like you're not actually changing the history of the item as far as the rest of the universe is concerned. So it's like, yes, you're tricking each person's soul individually that they were each raised in that place.
But in the spiritual realm.
But like my soul still knows where my parents are from. Even if their soul currently thinks it's from somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah. You'd have to do it more in depth.
I see that. It was not immediately obvious that this is how these mechanics would work. Like, because it would have been equally likely, I think, that your soul just wouldn't know where your parents are. And so your soul kind of follows the connection to your parents and asks, hey, where are you from?
Okay.
Yeah, but obviously from the answer, that's not how it works.
Obviously not, no.
Yes, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so I actually have been wanting to say this, that I still fully contend that these are not fabrials.
Okay, great, cool.
Just saying.
Cool.
Okay.
I like the term medalizer.
Who?
Can we kick him off the podcast for that?
Next question. Storm Lightning. You've talked about how Hoyd really appreciates his new light weaving abilities, but what about the soul casting side of things? Brent says, so you have to see. Is he excited about that, or does he already have all of that? No, he doesn't have all of that. He knows more than a lot of people do, and knows to be more frightened of soul casting than others are. Frightened is perhaps the wrong term. Wary.
Huh.
Indeed. So
I suppose when you're fundamentally changing the makeup of things, that probably has ramifications.
Yeah.
Potentially dangerous, right? Right. So my initial read on this, initial feeling on this is there's not a lot Hoyd is afraid of or concerned with.
Yeah.
Well, concerned about, I should say. He doesn't think a lot of things can damage him, and probably with a good reason, right?
Yeah.
Changing his soul is probably one of the things that it is potentially dangerous to him. And so soul casting inherently is not something to be trivial about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think soul casting him would be one of the few ways that could actually kill him. Because, like, if he's turned into stone, it's like, can't really heal from that. Like, if he turned 100% to stone.
I didn't interpret it that way. I interpret it more as the action of soul casting.
Of using soul casting, yeah.
Of using soul casting.
And what happens to people who soul cast.
But
they start turning into, it starts changing them.
Yes.
I see what you're
saying. And it's like,
now.
yes, radiant soul casters, like, there are protections in place.
Yes.
But we don't know if that 100% makes that not a problem.
I guess.
And also it might apply differently to Hoyd, because Hoyd just breaks all the rules,
weird.
so, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And hence, he's wary.
Sure.
Yeah.
Talk to me about girls, Ben.
Cool. Okay, so this one's from Storm Lightning. They ask, so about the girl who looked up, when her hair turns white, I'm just wondering, was that a Shallan cause thing, or was that external? To which Brandon says that was external. Storm Lightning says it was nothing to do with her. And Brandon says everything had something to do with her.
Thanks.
So Storm Lightning said, sir, but she did it cause it subconsciously or otherwise? Brandon said, well, she was involved, but the original source of that, yes, she was involved in that. And Storm Lightning said, but she didn't know something that caused it, even way back in her memory. Brandon says, no, you're going in the wrong direction for that. So what I'm assuming this means, the girl who looked up,
yes,
the story, whoever it's about, the white hair came from somewhere external. Shallan wasn't like remembering it from somewhere. Similar to how when Shallan was drawing pictures, she could draw pictures of people in other places, like when she drew the crew of the Wind's Pleasure.
Y'all.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all. She sometimes draws things that she shouldn't be able to see or know. And so I assume that's what happened there. She made the girl who looked up hairs white because of something she shouldn't or didn't know. And because that was maybe what actually happened. Was close to what actually happened.
I like connecting it to those drawings she did.
Yeah.
It's not something I had thought of, but I really like that.
Yeah.
Was the white hair also in her first vision?
Yeah.
It was in the. I'm pretty sure it was the original one.
It was definitely in the Hoyd one.
It was definitely the Hoyd one.
I'm saying, was it also in the Eurythero Theater?
I don't believe so.
I think it was. I'm going to quickly look it up.
Let's look.
Because I think it was.
Research time. Right.
Also, we should have like a cheesy 80s research break. Like,
oh, that would be funny. Yeah, we actually kind of do need something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's chapter 25. Her hair suddenly turns white, and Shallan's like, had her hair always been white?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we assume that the girl who looked up story is something that pretty much must have happened, or something similar to it must have happened at some point in reality. Maybe not on Roshar, maybe not, thing, but the story came from somewhere.
Yeah. So this
She's
doesn't
connecting
fit
to it in some way.
Yeah.
Sure, spiritual realm, time and space don't matter.
Paladin is good with the spear because he will be good with the spear.
Shut up. Do not finish that sentence.
Everyone who accomplishes anything in their life just is already good at everything.
That's right.
Blah.
That's right.
Blah.
Yeah.
Colors and gemstones are important because people perceive color to be important.
Oh my god. Brandon, I love you, but Brandon, I hate you.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, and this no longer applies, I think, but I'm gonna bring it up because maybe I've discounted the idea unreasonably. White hair is the color of the royal locks when somebody's afraid.
Okay.
Now, the reason I don't think it applies anymore is because, well, like at the moment Shallan was making that change, she didn't have a reason to be afraid just yet. Like, she was about to have her encounter with the Midnight or with the Midnight Essence, but that was not for another few seconds, I think.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ian.
This could not be further from my interpretation.
Yeah, I don't think this is related. Ian, what did you think?
So, who else in the Cosmere has white hair?
Hoyd!
And it's... I don't believe his hair is naturally white. Something happened to him.
Yes.
So it is white.
Yes.
So it's like...
Keep talking.
Whatever that might be involved with this somehow, that's all I have.
So are you saying that something happened to make Hoyd's hair white? Something happened to the girl who looked up to make her hair white. And those things could be related.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because, like, I don't think Hoyd is like, oh, he got really stressed out, so his hair turned white, which is actually a thing that can happen, or because it's Marie Antoinette syndrome, I think, whereas like young people's hair just spontaneously turns white. Sometimes it's
amazing.
Yeah. So it's like, but
interesting.
That just popped in my head.
I didn't think Girl Who Looked Up could be weirder, but I forgot about that fact. That is another very good question.
Okay, what if the original Girl Who Looked Up was actually Hoyd in a drag?
On a horse.
On a horse, yes.
Well, no, can't be on a horse. There were no horses on Roshar at that time.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
Well, no, there's no horses on Roshar, so therefore she wouldn't add it to the story.
No, she was going over from Shinovar, where there were horses, over to where the storms were. Come on.
Okay, fine.
This isn't even historically accurate anymore.
No, but I do seriously kind of wonder if Hoyd was instrumental in the expansion of, like, if whether he was a Prometheus-like figure to the Ashenites when they first came to Roshar.
I really want to read the second Girl Who Looked Up scene again.
This next one, questioner asks, does Marsh know much about what Kelsier is doing and okay about it? Brandon, yes. Okay, anything else on that, or just a yes until further? Brandon, yes, he knows. He's aware. Questioner, it's probably on 17 Shard or something. Brandon,
it's not.
No. That's just me. That's not in there anywhere. He's aware, but he's... Yeah. He wasn't aware of all the stuff like he is by now, though. That's what I'll say. We know Marsh was on the southern, right? He's on the southern side of Skater.
He voyaged there during Era 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why Marsh hasn't been around like in
Since
Shadows
Alloy?
of Self or since Alloy.
Oh, that must be a fun cruise ship. Just having March on there. Can we just talk about that? Let's write a novella about that. Okay.
Which by the way, that guy over there, he's our cultural incarnation of death. Don't worry about him. Like,
it's a really. I mean, obviously that's not how it happens, but it's a really cool twist on the boatman and the river Styx. Right. Yeah. Except instead of some the ferryman, not the boatman. Instead of somebody like carrying the dead to the other side, you have death
being carried,
getting on the ferry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that part that he had voyaged in Era 2. I thought he had been there before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's recent.
Okay.
His expedition there.
Cool. Yeah, and he did know of these things. So.
But yeah.
Cool.
Also, dear listeners, we don't know everything here on the 17th chapter.
No, we don't. No. It was just a thing that Brandon said at one point, and you can find it on Arcanum at wob.compromise.net. Oh my goodness.
So
this
is my absolute favorite wob.
These next two are incredible. They're the best part. We saved the best for last.
So this is from Stormlightning, who asks, would the Ghostbloods try to recruit a Sleepless? Brandon, the Ghostbloods would not trust a Sleepless. Stormlightning, they wouldn't? So they wouldn't even try to get one? Brandon, they would not. They would expect a Sleepless to take over their organization, or try to stay far away from the Sleepless. Stormlightning, what about the 17th Shard? Brandon, there are members of the 17th Shard who would be interested in recruiting one of the Sleepless. Generally, they represent a wildcard faction that a lot of other people are wary of. Stormlightning, I guess Chris and them just know about them? Brandon, yes. The Sleepless are Cosmere aware. Stormlightning, are they world hoppers? Brandon, there are Sleepless on many planets. They have mostly settled on Roshar for various reasons.
Various reasons. Okay.
I mean, that last sentence is the least interesting thing.
There's a lot. Well, there's a lot interesting on this. There's a lot interesting about
I love Sleepless. I'm loving it.
Too. I've loved them forever.
So, what I am really worried about right now is that we need to go through every book.
And for any Kremling-like thing, yeah.
Any bug ever.
Wouldn't someone have known this, found of this somehow by now? But, I mean...
Yes, but
I don't think they have to be bugs.
I guess
no, don't say that. It's a million times worse. God.
I think that they have cultivated their hordlings on Roshar to look like Kremlings, so that
there's another question right below that we'll talk about.
Should we jump into the next question just so we can talk about Sleepless a lot?
Why not?
Why don't we do that?
Why not?
Okay. So Stormlightning relentlessly continues the Inquisition.
Okay.
How hard would it be?
No one expects the Stormlightning Inquisition.
How hard would it be for a Sleepless to imitate the Larkin powers in one of their hordlings? Brandon says, they would take generations and generations of purposeful attempts and mutating that out. Could they theoretically do it? They could theoretically do it.
What? What? So yeah, they don't have to be hordlings. They don't have to look like Kremlings, clearly.
Well, so Kremling is it's kind of like saying insect.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it could
like
be
some are crustaceans, some are insects. It's like really
a mix of the two.
It's like wine or chickens, but even more so.
Oh, linguistically, I was like, wait, what?
Hordlings are like wine. You know,
they go really well with cheese.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Sleepless love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Let's try to parse some of this. Sleepless on many planets.
They like taking control of things.
They're ambitious.
They're ambitious. Oh,
which is not. Okay, great. You use the buzzword. Okay, let's synergize now.
Synergize, autonomy, ruin, preservation.
They're really passionate about controlling things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sometimes I had this podcast.
You're welcome.
With passion. Sleepless on multiple planets. We know they are going to be important in Era 4.
Yes. Sci-fi era, if you don't remember.
Yep. Space opera. I think the assumption has always kind of been that Roshar and Scadrial would kind of get together and like their story would in some way continue forward as a joint story. But that is not necessarily the case now, knowing that there might actually be Sleepless on Scadrial right now.
I would be surprised if there were not, to be honest, given this one.
Well, yeah, given this, yeah, sure. Could they imitate the powers of the Larkin theoretically after many generations? So what is interesting to me here is that the Larkin's ability to suck investiture at a distance, right? Because they don't like latch onto somebody. Yeah. They breathe the investiture out of them. Mm-hmm. That appears to be, if not purely, then mostly a biological process.
Yeah.
Like, if the Sleepless can just breed over and over and over and over again their hordlings and eventually arrive at something like the Larkin,
it's biological.
Yeah, like you don't need, let's say, us like the Larkin don't have a sprint connection, for example, that allows them to do that.
Yeah.
They don't have a connection to a shard that allows them to do that.
Yeah, but I don't.
It's just.
It's not
organ.
that.
It's not that. Weird.
It's not that of an. Yeah, it's not that weird because we know that on Scadrial, metallic arts are genetic. So
no, I don't think that's. Passed down. I think it's more just like how a creature can have its niche, and investiture is a very free resource on Roshar. It makes sense that something would develop to be like, all that investiture, I'm going to eat some of that. And other creatures are not going to do that, so I'm going to have food. And that's legit why koalas eat eucalyptus. Because no one else is going to eat eucalyptus. And because it's poisonous. And so koalas develop to just eat that. So, it's not that weird. It's just a fuel source.
Yeah. But I think Argent's point is that most of the animals and things on Roshar and plants that develop a use for investiture, they do it through a sprint connection, the life sprint, or the music sprint for the big horses. Yeah, so this is
investiture is not readily available to most species.
Yeah,
usually you need some extra oomph.
Well, yeah. It's just a matter of mutating that trait. It's it happened to Larkin.
Fair.
Didn't happen anywhere else, but that's just random mutations happening. Or this could have been designed by Ada Nauseam. We don't know.
Also true.
Sure, why not?
It is.
We used to call Larkin dragon wasps.
Okay. I'm gonna. Here's what I'm gonna do. So I said ambition, and Ambition's vessel was Uladar, who was a Shodel. Now we don't know anything about Shodel. So what if no, Sleepless are Shodel?
You should read the Dragonsteel chapters that
I don't live in the US. I can't
they're not.
You can't look at Brandon's website.
Oh, what those? Oh, is there Shodel on there?
Yes.
I have read them, but
yes.
A long time ago.
Yeah, they literally fight Shodel.
Okay, fine. The Shodel bugs then. There's Fane life. They're Fane life. I don't know. I'm throwing things at the wall.
I'm skeptical.
Good. You should be.
I find it interesting that Sleepless could try and infiltrate other organizations and stuff, and maybe have their fingers in all things. Maybe.
Yeah. we know how they like to watch things on Roshar, so everyone is a bit wary of random bugs all over. If you're aware they're sleepless and you don't want them sitting in your meetings, you're probably going to be like, should we get rid of all the bugs in the room before we the bugs, get it? Spying? Before we start talking about our meeting.
Boo! We're going to kick you from this call now. Boo!
So yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you, Evgeni, and say that they have mostly settled on Roshar for various reasons is interesting. Because we don't know.
Talk to me about it.
Why.
To be fair,
yes,
Evgeni did say it was the least interesting.
not that it was not interesting. I think it's actually fairly interesting because we don't know where the Amiens came from. They just came to Roshar, how that related it to the Sia Amiens. They both went into Amia because reasons. Who knows what's going on there? There's a lot of questions there, and they just have settled on Roshar for various reasons. Very helpful, Brandon. That's extremely helpful. But why?
You know what I wonder?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you had a wonder.
Well, I wonder why, of all the places in the Cosmere, places with awful desolation seems like a really bad place to settle. Unless they're trying to influence things there, which is that seems likely given what we just had, right?
Yeah.
Possible, if not likely.
They're certainly not doing it for safety, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe they couldn't go through customs.
they couldn't get through Nalthian customs. They're like, do you have a hordling in your carry-on baggage? And Dauma's just like, nuke them.
So someone's walking in with a briefcase and it opens and just hundreds of bugs fall out. And
like, no, not again!
I don't know where they came from.
It took 1,000 years for us to kill the last Sleepless here.
So what I was wondering is, oftentimes we kind of bundle the Sia and the Dizian together.
Yep.
Because we say Amiens and they're like both of them are Amiens. Many of us do that, Ian. Stop shaking your head.
I'm with Ian on this.
I think it's very likely that Ian is gonna try to interrupt me, but I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah, please do.
I stopped myself.
Good job, guys.
The Sia are actually native to Roshar, and the Dizian are obviously not. And one of the reasons they settled onto that world was maybe because they found some acceptance in, hey, these other people are also really weird. And these other people don't like these other people who are weird.
We can be weird together.
We can be weird together. in different ways.
You know what? That's the best theory I've heard for this. Yeah, sure. Yes, Ian.
For the record, I was shaking my head because that's a bad idea to lump them together. Not that I was objecting to the fact that we do lump them together.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, they're the Sleepless. I agree. I totally agree with you, Ian. No, I like.
But I was just thinking as well.
Yes, go ahead.
I was just thinking about going back to your point about them living in Amia being it like Roshar's a bit of a dangerous place. I'm like looking at my Roshar map over here.
Yes.
Bam.
Yes.
And like Amia is like the New Zealand of Roshar. Like it's like off the main continent, the main desolations and all that. You've got like Shinovar here.
I'm sure the Fused wouldn't go to a place
everyone
that
else
had
is
one
here,
of the frickin' oath gates.
And they're gonna fight like
one
this.
Of the Silver
and
Kingdoms.
No one's really gonna be. That's a very good point, actually. Yeah,
it was literally had an oath gate. It was involved, Ben.
It's also more like Australia.
It's like behind Shinovar. Like, it's probably closer to Australia than New Zealand, but yeah. I'm just thinking it probably wouldn't be that dangerous to be in Amia during the desolations.
I have a theory, guys. You know where the Sleepless originally came from? Vax. Easy. Yeah. Easy. 10 out of 10. Nailed it.
Sure.
Initiation?
Why not?
Sure, why not? And then they went there to Amia to explore the undersea caverns of Amia. Easy.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I reckon they probably made the undersea caverns because they're hunters of bugs and they live on an island.
Okay, yeah, that's
they probably
a good
made.
Point.
Yeah.
Like a hive thing, you know?
Yeah, like a hive thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, honestly, if we didn't blab about JordanCon so much, we would be very productive on this WoB episode. We got a lot done. So,
and sorry if we didn't mention your WoB, but
yes, there's
you had to pick highlights.
Yeah, we always pick highlights that are like really cool. So, just because you have a cool question, doesn't mean we don't appreciate it. Unless it's about time bubbles, then I don't appreciate it. But others on this podcast do, so don't worry. You can find all of these words of Brandon and more at wob.coppermine.net. And you know what time it is? It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character?
This character is from Roshar.
Menace.
Tien.
Tom.
Braze.
Void in drag on a horse.
It's time for Who's That Cosmere Character?
Okay, welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character? It's a game show where you guys send in 5 clues and a character, and I read out the 5 clues to these guys, and then they try and guess who the character is. And then if they don't, they suck.
Menace.
You win. It's not Menace. Wait. It might be Menace.
Wait, really? You don't get to guess before clues happen. You don't get to guess clues before... You don't get to guess characters before the clues happen.
Okay.
Hoyd,
right,
Kenton. All right, great, cool. Hoyd,
so,
Kenton, Menace.
Character number 1, clue number 1. This character is female. Oh, it's was sent in by Gavin Morrison as well. Hi, Gavin.
Hi, Gavin.
Hi, Gavin. I'm going to guess the girl who looked up.
It is not the girl who looked up.
I'm going to guess Ulada.
It is not Ulada.
I'm going to guess a character from Cell.
Whoa, bold
so
choice.
half of this podcast can be annoyed at my correct pronunciation.
I mean, what if I just have a robot?
Shay.
It is not.
That
Shy.
makes me the most angry. I almost want to edit something that like is saying shy and like robot over you saying that. That's almost
the Microsoft voice.
Yeah. What if I just have a robot?
Shy.
Do it.
I legit might do that.
This character's full name is not often used.
Siri.
It is Siri! Hey!
Boom!
Nice.
Cicerina or Cicerina.
Cicerina.
Go. Yep. Clue number 3 was this character is invested. Clue number 4 was has ancestors who are speculated to be world hoppers. And 5, this character's name is spoken loud on Earth more often than any character in the Cosmere. It's the great clue.
Nice.
Well
Are
done.
they speculated to be world hoppers in Clue 4?
Don't worry about it.
Let's not have weird speculation on what someone thought one day. I think we should ban those types of clues.
No, I want someone to send in a whole Who's the Cosmic Character where all the clues are nothing but speculation and theories.
Just crackpot theories.
Yes, Ian.
So, I got to Siri like a second after you because my first thought was Wheel of Time for some reason. Just like, wait, I'm like Elmandretta. Wait, no, that's not Cosmere.
Excellent. 10 out of 10. What? Ian doesn't get this point. Sweet.
Don't send in Who's That Wheel of Time characters. Actually, yes, do send in Wheel of Time characters.
No, definitely don't do that.
There's far too many Wheel of Time characters.
No. I haven't read those yet.
I mean, the Cosmere characters are approaching the Wheel of Time ones.
Are they?
Because there's like 2,000 Wheel of Time characters.
Only 2,000?
Yeah. Named characters.
Only 2,000?
Now, mind you, it's only in one series, right? So,
yeah,
by the end of Stormlight, we might
Stormlight books.
And 850 or something.
Hey, we have nearly 1,700 characters in the Cosmere. We'll get there.
So, getting there, yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is 1,700 total characters on the Coppermind, which is not the same as Cosmere characters. My apologies.
Give us more, Ben. We do too.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pick a good one.
Find Menace.
Cool. Okay.
Actually, that already happened on the Who's That Cosmere Character show, and I got it.
I hate it.
You were at JordanCon
so
meeting your new friends, and you just didn't like us anymore.
Something funny happened because I was listening to this week's most recent podcast, and you actually said, like, I'm waiting for a clue where it says they're in 2 chapters, and then I'm going to guess Menace. And I was like,
Is that what I said?
Yeah, you literally said that. And I was like, can tell the future.
The one they posted yesterday?
The one you posted, either the most recent one or the one you posted. No, not this week's. Sorry, either Radiance 2 or Radiance 3. You were like, I'm waiting.
I remember me doing that. So, all right, moving on.
Anyway, moving on.
That was like forever ago that I edited that one. I was like, wait, I just edited yesterday. I don't remember that at all. I believe in yesterday's podcast, Matt was like, do you just guess Menace on every single one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you do.
Not every single one.
Somebody does.
Not this one. Not the point that I just got.
Yeah.
Counterexample. Cool.
Okay. Character number 2. Okay. Clue number 1. This character is a soldier.
Taln.
It's not Taln.
Yondel.
It is not Yondel.
Demo.
It is not Demu.
Good choices.
Clue number 2. This is a viewpoint character.
Kaladin.
Well, that narrows it down.
Kaladin.
It is not Kaladin. It's not Kaladin.
Wellen, that one guy who's based on Dan Wells, who got a viewpoint chapter in like
Well of Ascension. Or Hero of Ages.
It is not Wellen.
Okay. Good guess. I like that. I know who it is. Wait, no, he wasn't a soldier. No, he was not a soldier. Okay, all right.
I forgot the name of that character.
What character? Are we thinking the same thing?
Probably. The kid from the very first Kaladin chapter.
No, not at all. That was not what I was thinking at all.
Well, that's the one I'm thinking. The one who, like the very first viewpoint.
So
who has the same name as a Wheel of Time character.
So Ben,
yeah, that's useful.
Would characters who enlisted be considered soldiers, or do you have to be like a good soldier?
You have to be, someone who's enlisted is enlisted to become a soldier. That's what enlisting means.
To become a soldier.
Well, I guess if you die on the way to, whatever you've enlisted for.
I want to pedantic out what a soldier means, okay?
Oh, okay, do you want to guess
character...
one of the Hearthstone villagers?
No, that was not what I was thinking either. But the thing that I was thinking doesn't work, so never mind.
Okay. This character is a soldier.
My guess is that the kid, the last kid Kaladin adopts before encountering the Shardbearer.
I'll give it to you because that's the character. You
didn't know the name?
It's that character.
It's Sen.
Yeah, it's Sen. Come on, you didn't know that name?
Yeah.
I knew it at some point, but I've been eating nuts all day.
That's not.
Does
even
mess
related.
with your ability to remember Sen. Clue number 3 was this character feels in over their head. Clue number 4 was there is a talk between this character and another character about going to the bathroom during a battle. And character number 5 is this.
It is a thing.
It wasn't Kaladin's squad.
Did
we have had
name who sent this one in?
Oh, I don't think I did. It's from Cardsin River.
You want to try that one again there, Ben?
I'm sorry.
Cardsin River. Cardsin River. Cardsin. Okay, the word card, the word
Eric,
sin,
can we put
R, a V, and an
A. If Ben puts it in the document, then yes.
I'll put it in the document.
Great.
So
Is it card as in the fish or card as in playing card?
Card as in playing card.
Sin. Okay. That was a good American. Sin. I like that. Card.
And then the letter R, the letter V, and the letter A. Unless they got the R and the V wrong, and they're just Cardsin, which case, it's Cardsin. How you doing, Cardsin?
Oh, so there's probably like some initial nonsense going on.
Maybe. Anyway.
Good talk.
Good. Who's that cosmic character?
Yes.
Who's that non-Cosmere character? It's cards.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Follow us on 17shard.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. Join us in Discord where you can chat with us. You can find Wobs at wob.coppermind.net. You can look at everything on the wiki at coppermind.net. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud. You can support us on Patreon if you like what we do. Leave us a review on iTunes, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. My name is Shalash.
No, it's not. We're on task. We don't need rails. You told us we didn't need rails.
I am an inspirational speaker.
I can't wait till you're the guest of honor of a JordanCon and you're like, we don't need rails. Let's go forward, America. Dump things in the hard bus in Harvard. Yeah, America. Yeah, like that. I would listen to you do a guest of honor speech pretending to be the most redneck person ever in America. That would be incredible. I would pay at least $15 to see that, good sir.
Sweet.
Anyway, continue.
After a short
A short. This is staying in the episode.
After a short break. Where we just laugh for no reason.
We gotta make
Next
Wob
question.
episodes fun. Why does Eric talk like a crazy person? It's like, I'm excited.